Well, we're back at it again. This time it's week 4 in our sim of the 1970 NFL season. So we've already got the games set up and ready to go through the highlights. So with no further ado, let's jump into the action. Our first game on the schedule, we have Minnesota at Chicago in Wrigley Field, and it looks like it's going to be a messy game. It's pouring down rain in the friendly confines. Let's go to the action. 11-17 in the first. Minnesota has the ball, and Quazzo is picked off by Phil Clark on the Chicago 1. 2:35 in the first left. Oh, block punt by the Bears goes out of bounds at the Minnesota 14. The Bears special teams get a big win there. Minute 35 in the first. Percival splits the uprights. 22-yard field goal by Mac Percival. Chicago 3, Minnesota nothing. 10:53 in the second quarter. Quazzo back to pass. And he hits Clint Jones. Clint Jones is off to the races, and it's touchdown Minnesota. The connection of Kuzo and Jones for 53 yards and 7 points. Fred Cox with 5:12 in the second. Gets it through the uprights, 27 yards. Minnesota 10, Chicago 3. Again, Minnesota driving with a minute 4 left in the second. Kuzo hits Bob Grimm in the end zone. Touchdown Minnesota. The score is now 17-3. More Minnesota. Quazzo hits Gene Washington and he coughs the ball up. Chicago's ball on the 36. What can Chicago do? Jack Concannon is under center. And he manages to throw an interception right at Bobby Bryant. 28 seconds left in the third. Fred Cox kicks it right through. Minnesota goes up 20-3. 6:42 left in the fourth. Concannon under center for the Bears. He's back to pass. He's looking. And they don't convert on that fourth down. It's fourth and 2 yards. Couldn't get that conversion. 2:40 in the fourth. Fred Cox again. Splitting the uprights for the Minnesota Vikings. Extending the score 23-3. 2 minutes left in the fourth. Concannon. He's looking. He's back. He hits Dick Gordon. Dick Gordon is off to the races and fumbles the ball when he's tackled. Minnesota gains the ball back at the 38. A minute 5 left. Dave Osborne turns the corner, gets the first down, and fumbles the ball. I know the ball's pretty slick in those conditions. Chicago has a chance to add to their score. And they miss. Concannon misses Farmer. That will be your final score. Minnesota 23. The Chicago Bears, in a wet Wrigley Field game, only come up with 3 points. Let's look here. Quazzo is your game MVP. Let's look at our game stats. Dominating game by the Minnesota Vikings. So apparently Bobby Douglas is not going to be the answer for the Chicago Bears under center. So they've gone back to Jack Concannon, and hopefully we can get better results going forward. But today was not a good day for either team. Lots of turnovers. The conditions played a factor in the game. Quazzo's numbers: 18 out of 25, 294 yards, 2 TDs, an interception. He did have that 53-yard touchdown pass to Clint Jones. He was sacked twice for 15 yards. Dave Osborne, just under the 100-yard mark with 96 yards on 24 carries. Gene Washington, big game for him. 164 yards on 6 catches. He had a 40-yard reception. Surprisingly, no TDs for him, even with those numbers. Touchdowns went to Clint Jones with that 53-yard catch, and Bob Grimm got a touchdown. Here's your Minnesota offensive numbers for today's game. Defense: Carl Eller, again having a good game. He's had solid games so far this season. In every game, he's been doing some damage. 7 tackles, 2 for loss. He did get another sack. Jim Marshall, who's been kind of quiet, he stepped up. 5 tackles, 4 for loss. He got a sack as well. Alan Page, 3 tackles, 1 for a loss. So that at least 3 of the front 4. They made their presence known. Paul Krause gathered in that fumble. Bobby Bryant got the interception. Fred Cox, even in the awful conditions that the game was played in at Wrigley Field, had a perfect day. McNeil, not much work for him today. All right, Clint Jones and Charlie West. Well, Jones had just a single return for 31 yards. On punt returns, West and Grimm. The Charlie West had the longest one was return was 6 yards. He had 1 fair catch. Now we look at the Chicago numbers. Jack Concannon, 13 of 28, 178 yards. No touchdowns, an interception. Was sacked twice for 14 yards. On the ground, not much for Chicago against that Vikings defense. Shai had 13 carries for 21 yards. Ronnie Bull, 10 carries, 36 yards. Chicago through the air. Your yardage leader and catch leader was George Farmer. Dick Gordon had a good catch and run, but he also coughed the ball up. Chicago just couldn't get anything going on offense, and that's been kind of the story of the season. There's your total offense numbers for the Bears. Bears defense. Dick Butkus leading at 9 tackles. Phil Clark, 7 tackles. He had an interception and a fumble recovery. Benny McRae had the other fumble recovery. Stately and the veteran Leroy Caffey had sacks. Mac Percival just had the field goal. He was the only scoring that the Chicago Bears got. Bobby Joe Green had a busy day. A lot of 3 and outs for the Chicago Bears. Your kick returners, Smith and Turner. Smith and Cole doing the punt return duties. 1 return for 5 yards for Ron Smith. All right. So the Minnesota Vikings winning ways continue. The frustration continuing to build in Chicago. They've got some weapons in the receiving core. Unfortunately, it just seems like neither Bobby Douglas nor Jack Concannon can put enough consistency together at quarterback to get the ball to him. And the Battle of Ohio. Cincinnati playing at Cleveland in Municipal Stadium. That weather front that was pouring rain in Chicago. That's starting to pour rain in Cleveland. So it looks like up in the Midwest there might be a little bit of might be seeing some more bad weather games, but moderate rain in Municipal Stadium here for the game. Let's go to the highlights. 2:43 in the first. Nelson's back in as quarterback, and he hits Morin for the touchdown. 29 yards from Bill Nelson to Morin. Cleveland up 7-0. Well, but the Bengals drive, and Virgil Carter hits Speedy Thomas. Touchdown, Bengals. Extra point is good, so we got a tie game at 7. Don Concroft, who had a rough game last week, continues his kicking woes wide right, so the score is still 7-7. 4:07 left in the second. Nelson hits Fair Hooker for the first down. I guess Phipps is on the bench, and Blanton Collier's decided to go with the veteran Bill Nelson. And Lamar Parrish picked Nelson off there as they were getting close to a score. 53 seconds left. Horst Molman punches the ball through. See if there's any more action in the second quarter. There's not. 7:53 in the third. Carter hands the ball off. Gets the first down. They convert on that 4th and 2 to keep the drive alive. Stalls out, and Molman comes in. Kicks it right through. Cincinnati 13, Cleveland 7. 30 seconds left in the third. Molman trying a long field goal in the light rain. That's wide left. Looked like he kind of slipped a little bit there as he was approaching the ball in the wet conditions on the field. 6:42 left in the fourth. Nelson hands off to Bo Scott, and he fumbles the ball. Oh my gosh, and Cincinnati picks it up and runs it back. I'd say that was a good 20-yard run back by Cincinnati. Cincinnati now knocking on the door with 6:34 left. Was that a halfback pass? And it sure was. Halfback pass from to Speedy Thomas, 20 yards, touchdown. Scores 27 with 4:55 in the fourth. Nelson winds up. And they took their shot on 4th and 10, and it didn't pan out. 2:21 left. Cincinnati, Molman punches another field goal through. Oh no, it was wide left. I had a bad angle on that one. Score remains unchanged, 20-7 Cincinnati, and that will be your final score. So in the Battle of Ohio, the upstart Bengals beat the established Cleveland Browns 20-7 in Municipal Stadium in the light rain. Some slick conditions there in the field, with Molman slipping a little bit there as he was getting ready to kick the field goal. Had some fumbles, but Cincinnati comes out on top. And your MVP of the game, Speedy Thomas, 4 catches, a couple touchdowns. Looking at your game stats. Cleveland came out ahead in total offense, but just didn't have the points to show for it. Virgil Carter, 11 out of 22, 160 yards. 1 TD, was sacked once for 7 yards, and then we had that halfback pass from Paul Robinson to for a 20-yard touchdown. Your rushing leaders for the Cincinnati Bengals. Paul Robinson, 74 yards. Jess Phillips got 60. Speedy Thomas, he is the recipient of that halfback pass for 20 yards. He had a good game and was the MVP. 85 yards, 2 touchdowns on 4 catches. Here's total offense numbers for the Bengals. And let's look at Cincinnati's defense. Shumzansky, 5 tackles, 2 for loss, 1 of them a sack. Lamar Parrish picked off Bill Nelson. Fletcher Smith grabbed a fumble, scooped it up, and that, I thought for a moment there he was going to be able to run it in for a touchdown, but got caught from behind. Dreyer and Riley tied for 7 tackles as tackle leaders. Molman, solid as usual. He did miss 2 field goals, but the conditions were a little slippery out there. Could have been a bad hold, but or just, not getting good footing. Lewis's number for punting for the Cincinnati Bengals. Lamar Parrish had 2 returns for 69 yards. His longest was 38. Your punt return numbers from Essex Johnson and Lamar Parrish. Okay, let's look at Cleveland. Well, Blanton Collier decided to go with the veteran over Mike Phipps. Phipps had a good game in, I'm trying to think if it was, I think it was week 2. Phipps went in because Nelson had a poor showing in week 1. Actually, Phipps got the game MVP in that game. So in week 3, Collier went with a hot hand and kept Phipps in, and Phipps didn't have a really good game, so it looks like he decided to go back to Bill Nelson, the veteran. 16 to 34, 234 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. Another good game for Bo Scott. 72 yards on 13 rushes. He did, however, cough the ball up and gave that over to Cincinnati. Your receiving numbers for Cleveland. Milt Morin, 113 yards. He did get the touchdown. And the offense numbers for Cleveland today versus the Cincinnati Bengals. On defense, Walter Johnson and Bill Andrews both led in tackles. 3 of those for loss for each one of them. Jim Houston got the sack. Jerry Schreck only had 2 tackles, but both of them were for loss of yards. Cogcroft's kicking woes continue in the field goal department. Again, could have been weather related. It, was kind of it was a wet field. Punting. Cogcroft's numbers for punting today. And Homer Jones did not run a kick return back for the 2nd week in a row, but still had a 35-yard return. Morrison and Schoen, their numbers for today, returning punts. All right. Well, that will wrap up the Bengals-Browns highlights. Now we go to the Cotton Bowl. Atlanta visiting Dallas. Questions, and a lot of nervous folks down in Dallas. What is going on with the Dallas offense? This is a team that should be one of the better teams, if not one of the dominating teams in 1970, and they are scuffing. They're getting it done on defense, but it just seems like neither Craig Morton nor Roger Staubach can get it going on the offensive side of things. Will today be different? And who's going to be under center for the Dallas Cowboys? Craig Morton or Roger Staubach? It was Staubach last week in a loss. Let's see if Tom Landry decides to go with Craig Morton. Well, it's 10:42 in the first. Bob Berry of the Falcons under center. He passes, and it looks like they're trying to do a convert a fourth down, and that just didn't pan out. 4:27 left. Clark. And it's good. Mike Clark punches it through. 3-0 Dallas. Craig Morton is under center for Dallas. He's back to pass. And he throws an interception to Al Levan. Not a good start for Craig Morton. Let's see if he picks it up here in the second quarter. He rolls out. He hits Homan for a long gainer and a touchdown. Craig Morton to Dennis Homan, 41-yard touchdown pass. 10-0 Dallas. Bob Berry driving the Falcons downfield. He's going for it with 11:03 left. Oh, and he gets Brunson. Touchdown Atlanta Falcons on a 54-yard shot by Bob Berry. 9:36 in the third left. Craig Morton drops back. And he hits Al Levan again. Levan seems to be Morton's favorite receiver today. We have a punt, and it's blocked. Jethro Pugh picks up the punt, rumbles downfield, and is finally tackled by the punter. Oh, no, it was tackled by Dave Edwards. And Craig Morton, with 3:37, he scrambles in. 17-7 Dallas. 5:58 in the fourth left. Bob Berry hands off to Harmon Wages, and he bowls his way in for a 3-yard touchdown run. 36 seconds left. It's up, but is it good? It's good. And it is good. Mike Clark's 36-yard attempt is good. Dallas 20, Atlanta 14. Dallas kicks off. Campbell's got it. He's cutting up the sideline. And are the Falcons going to beat the Cowboys with 30 seconds? Unbelievable, people. Here we have a 110-yard return by Sonny Campbell to give Atlanta the lead with next to no time left. 7 seconds. Craig Morton. It's a 20-20 ball game because Atlanta missed the extra point. Morton. And he overthrows Calvin Hill. And that is your game. 2020. Al Levan is your MVP with 2 interceptions and 11 tackles. He was a busy man. Yeah, Cowboy fans aren't going to be satisfied with that, but at least they got better play out of Craig Morton. Here's your game stats. Bob Berry, 6 of 20, 154 yards, and a touchdown. He did get sacked twice for 12 yards. In the rushing department, 46 and 47 yards for Cannonball Butler and Harmon Wages, respectively. Wages got the touchdown run. Your receiving leaders, Brunson Flatley. Brunson had the 54-yard touchdown catch. Total offense numbers for the Atlanta Falcons. Defensively, Tommy Nobis, 12 tackles, 1 for loss. Al Levan, your MVP, 11 tackles. He had 2 interceptions on that as well. Claude Humphreys, 2 tackles for loss. Vineyard missed an extra point, which would have sealed the game for the Falcons. Lothridge, 43 yards was his longest punt. He had 1 blocked, but had 2 inside the 22 touchbacks and 2 fair catch. Campbell and Butler. Sonny Campbell had that 110-yard return for a touchdown with seconds remaining in the game. Here's your punt return numbers for the Atlanta Falcons. Yeah, let's look at Dallas. Well, 8 of 20, 109 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Not a great line, but at least was generating something out there. Staubach just didn't do much better in his chances at starting, so we'll see what Tom Landry does going forward. Dwayne Thomas, another good game, 110 yards. Craig Morton had that scramble for a touchdown. Looking at the receiving yards, Holman had 53 yards and a touchdown. He had most of it on that 41-yard touchdown catch. There's your total offense numbers. On defense, Leroy Jordan leading in tackles. George Andre had a good game, 4 tackles, 2 for loss, and those were sacks, it looks like. Larry Cole had a good game as well, just 1 tackle, but it was for loss. Mike Clark, perfect for the day. Ron Woodby, he had 4 punts, longest was 45. He got 3 of them inside the 20. Your kick returners, Thomas and Adkins. Your punt returners, Hayes and Renfro. All right. I don't know if a tie is better than a loss, but at least you could look at it from a positive perspective. They did lose. So still questions with the Cowboys, but maybe they're starting to turn the corner. Now we have Baltimore going into the Astrodome in Houston to play the Oilers. 8:59 in the first. Unitas drops back, hits Eddie Hinton on the 1-yard line, and he rolls in for the touchdown. 2:39 left in the first. Unitas hands off to Maitland. Did he get the first? No. He did not get it. He was just hit at the line. Turns it over. Charlie Johnson for the Oilers. Gets the first down on their 4th and 2. 11:25 in the second. Charlie Johnson back to pass. And he is picked off by Bob Grant. Baltimore 7, Houston nothing. 51 seconds. Jim O'Brien misses the field goal. Score at that point, 7-0. Now we are in the third quarter, 9:43. O'Brien trying again, and that looks like a miss. O'Brien has missed 2 field goals today. Score remains 7-0. Roy Gerella, his chance with 1:57 in the third. And that is wide left. Not a good day in the Astrodome for field goals. O'Brien again. Well, that was a chip shot, so at least he didn't miss that one. Baltimore 10, Houston nothing. Unitas hands off to Bulash. Bulash fumbles at the line. Houston has the ball on the 39-yard line. 2:05 left in the fourth. Charlie Johnson, he's looking. And he gets Charlie Joyner in the end zone. Touchdown, Oilers, with 2:05 in the fourth. Oilers are kicking off. Go for the onside kick. And they get it. Houston gets the ball. With 1:26 left, Charlie Johnson, let's see if he can pull a miracle out of things. And he does. He gets the first down. Johnson to Birney for 22 yards. 1:04 left. Charlie Johnson slinging it. Picked off by Mike Curtis. That's a backbreaker right there. So close, but yet so far away. 7 seconds left in the fourth. Johnson giving it a heave-ho and misses Charlie Joyner. And that will be your final score. Baltimore comes in and gets a 10-7 victory. Houston played them hard. MVP, Mike Curtis, 11 tackles, a sack, and an interception. Here's your game stats. Let's look at Baltimore's numbers. The immortal Johnny Unitas, 23 out of 29. Almost an 80% completion rate. 1 touchdown, 1 sack. Rushing numbers for Baltimore. Maitland had 37 yards. Bulash had 25. Both of them fumbled, and Bulash actually gave the ball away in his fumble. Looking at receiving, Eddie Hinton had a big day with 101 yards and a touchdown. Total offense for Baltimore. On defense, your MVP, Mike Curtis, 11 tackles, 2 for loss. One of them a sack, and he did get that pick to break the back of the Oilers as they were driving down with literally seconds left in the game to see if they could squeak out a touchdown and hopefully win 14-10. But was not meant to be because Mike Curtis stepped in front of that Charlie Johnson pass, and that was all she wrote. Jim O'Brien missed 2 field goals. Like I said, it just seemed to be Jarrell was missing field goals as well. Just was, I guess, a weird environment in the Astrodome where the kickers were just struggling, even though there was no wind. David Lee got in 6 punts. 3 of them were fair catch. 1 inside the 20. Duncan and Garden. Nothing going on kick returns. Garden and Volk. Ron Garden had a 44-yard punt return. Well, let's look at Houston's numbers. Charlie Johnson, 19 of 44, 219 yards, a touchdown, 2 picks, 2 sacks for 15 yards. That last pick was That was a heartbreaker. The rushing leader for the Oilers today was Mike Richardson with 31 yards. Joe Dawkins rumbled in for a touchdown. Oh, no, that was a fumble. My bad. Joe Dawkins did fumble the ball, but did not give it up. All right, looking here. Richardson again is your leader out of the backfield, 49 yards. Charlie Joyner, lone touchdown. Total offense for the Oilers. On defense, Boyette had 10 tackles. Willie Parker, 6 tackles, 3 for loss. Domrys, 5 tackles, 2 for loss. And Pat Holmes had the lone sack. Parker did recover a fumble. Jarella, he missed his field goal attempt. Was good on extra points. Spike Jones got some work punting today. Longest was 47. He had 6 of those 9 inside the 20. Levias and Benny Johnson kick returns. Levias and Richardson on punt returns. All right. Well, with that, we had the blowout. Well, we had 2 blowouts at the beginning. And we've had a tie and a 1 touchdown margin of victory in the 4th game. Now we move on to Kansas City and Municipal Stadium. Not Arrowhead yet, but Municipal Stadium. It's 70 degrees out in the out on the plains with a mild wind and sunny skies. So Boston is 0-3. Kansas City 2-1. Let's see if Boston can somehow defeat the reigning Super Bowl champions, winners of Super Bowl V, the Kansas City Chiefs. 8:33 in the first. Len Dawson for the Chiefs under center. He rolls out, and he's picked off. Threw across his body, and that's a good run back. Got it all the way back. Clarence Scott ran it back to the Kansas City 34. So he was under center. Well, it's not Joe Cap. Oh, and Carl Garrett is stuffed on a 4th and short. 3:25 in the first. Dawson back to pass. He's picked up by Clarence Scott again. Clarence Scott has got Len Dawson's number today. 14-19 in the second. Wendell Hayes rumbles into the end zone. 9-yard touchdown run. And the ice is broken. We got 7 for Kansas City, 0 for Boston. 8:02 in the second. Podolak runs in for 4 yards to add to that score. 14-0 Kansas City. Talafiero under center for Boston. Joe Cap not getting the start. And Bobby Bell picks that ball off and runs it back for a few yards. 3:29 in the second. Dawson back. He hits Morris Stroud. And the big tight end, the towering tight end for Kansas City, runs it in for a touchdown. 43-yard pass from Dawson to Morris Stroud. 5 seconds left in the second before the half. Dawson back to pass. He's scrambling. He's moving around. And he heaves it downfield. And Mr. Scott has got him again. Clarence Scott gets his 3rd interception of the day off Len Dawson. 13:58 in the third. What is Boston going to do here? Oh, avoids the sack. And Ron Sellers grabs that pass, and he's off to the races. That is a sure touchdown, folks. Unless it's called back. Is there a flag on the play? No! 77 yards. Mike Talafiero to Ron Sellers. 21-7, Kansas City. Talafiero under center again. Hands off to Jim Nancy. Gets hit. Coughs the ball up on the Kansas City 42. 9:52 left in the third. Lenny's matriculating the ball down the field and just misses the outstretched arms of Otis Taylor on that 4th and 7. 10:34 in the fourth. Jan Stenerud. Chip shot. Adds to the Kansas City total. It's now 24-7. With 2 minutes left, Lenny Dawson's pitches the ball to Podolak, and Podolak turns the corner. 8-yard touchdown run for Ed Podolak. And the extra point is good. 31-7 will be your final score. Boston drops to 0-4. Kansas City goes to 3-1. Podolak, again, he was an MVP earlier this season. What a day for him. 27 rushes, 147 yards. 5 catches, 61 yards. He had 2 touchdowns rushing. He did complete a pass for 14 yards. And he also is on special teams. So let's see what his special team yardage looks like as well. Okay. Dominating performance by the Kansas City Chiefs, your Super Bowl champions. Talifiero's numbers. 9 of 25, 162 yards. He did have a touchdown and interception. 5 sacks for 34 yards. I think Joe Cap could do better than that, but we'll see if he starts next week. The Boston rushing attack was non-existent. Receiving, Ron Sellers, 84 yards, but 77 of those yards were on just 1 catch. So Kansas City did a good job overall of just stuffing the Patriots offense. And the anemic total offense numbers for the Patriots. On defense, Shayunsky had 14 tackles. Bramlett, 13 tackles, 1 for loss. And he did get a sack. Clarence Scott, he had Lenny Dawson's number all day. He had 4 tackles and he picked him off 3 times. Capoletti just got in for a extra point. Janik was busy punting today because there just wasn't much going on with the offense for the Patriots. Lawson and Garrett, their numbers for kick returns. Garrett and blanks on punt returns. Okay, and let's see how Kansas City did. Lenny Dawson, 19 completions on 36 attempts, 250 yards, a touchdown, 3 picks. Wow. His longest was 43 yards and a touchdown strike to Morris Stroud. Did get sacked once for 7 yards. And Podolak had his completion on that halfback pass for 14 yards. And Podolak, big day running the ball, 147 yards on 27 carries, 2 touchdowns. Wendell Hayes had a nice 9-yard touchdown run as well. Receiving, Podolak again, leading in receiving, 61 yards. Stroud had the touchdown. Looks like they were spreading the ball around a bit. Here's your total offense numbers for the Kansas City Chiefs. On defense, Jerry Mays, 5 tackles today. Buck Buchanan had 4 tackles, 3 of them for loss, and those were 3 sacks. Bobby Bell got 2 sacks as well, and he did pick off the ball. Jim Lynch grabbed a fumble. Jan Stenerud, perfect today. Gerald Wilson had a good day at punting. 43-yard, about 44-yard average, 3 inside the 20. Not much action for Holmes and Podolak on kick returns. And Podolak only got 2 yards on punt returns. 4 fair catches. Okay. Well, the Patriots struggles continue. Chiefs looking like they're riding the ship a little bit and looking to make a run at the number 1 spot in the AFC West. Next game. Oh, we've got a SoCal, NoCal matchup. The 2-1 Niners versus the 2-1 Rams in the Coliseum. See who's going to come out. The winner of this game is going to probably take over the lead in the NFC West. So, important game for both teams. Let's go to the action. 5:02 in the first. The Rams have driven down the field, and Billy Truax's hit 2-yard touchdown pass from Gabriel to Truax. 7-0 Rams. Gossett with 11:26 in the second. Kicks it through the uprights. 7-3 Rams. With 1:48 left in the second quarter. Stud still punting out of his end zone. And here comes the San Francisco return, and it is a return for a touchdown. Bruce Taylor, 40-yard touchdown return off of a punt. 10-7 Niners. Gabriel back to pass with 26 seconds left, and he hits Wendell Tucker. Wow, we've seen that combination this season, and that's a good combination. 24 yards for Gabriel to Tucker. 10:45 in the third. Gossett is wide right on that one. Scores 14-10 Los Angeles. 5:02 in the third. Gabriel back to pass. And he is picked off. He's picked off by Mel Phillips at the 17. 2 seconds left in the third. Gabriel back to pass. Oh, and he barely overthrew his receiver. Picked off by Rosie Taylor. 14-10 going into the fourth. Another punt by Stud still. Oh, and he fumbles the ball. No return, fumble. 6:29 in the fourth. Gabriel hands off to Josephson. Makes his way through the defense and touchdown. 15-yard run by Les Josephson. Tacks on another 7 points for the Rams. 21-10 Rams. Brody just misses Witcher on the 4th and 12 with 4:20 in the fourth left. 37 seconds left in the fourth. David Ray punches it through, and he's had his struggles this season so far kicking. So glad he could get one through there. With 6 seconds left, John Brody's going to try to see if he can get a miracle here. He lets it go. He's heading downfield. Nope. Falls incomplete. And that will be your final score. Rams 24. Niners 10. Minnesotan Les Josephson gets your game MVP. Got 2 catches for 25 yards out of the backfield and then ran for 99 yards and a touchdown. And I would say that is a solid performance by the Los Angeles Rams to get the win. Brody's numbers on the day for San Francisco: 16 to 29, 241 yards, no TDs, no interceptions, was sacked twice for 14 yards. The San Francisco rushing attack was pretty much stuffed. Ken Willard, who's ripped off a couple big games for 100 plus yards, only 19 yards today. Receiving wise, Dick Witcher 111 yards, Gene Washington 77 yards. There's your total offense numbers for the 49ers. On defense, the veteran Charlie Kruger comes up with the most tackles for the defense, 8 tackles, 2 of them for a loss. Dave Wilcox got a sack. Phillips and Rosie Taylor got the interceptions. Gossett missed a field goal, but was perfect on his 1 extra point attempt. Steve Spurrier's punting numbers. Tucker and Taylor on kick returns. Longest was 32. Punt returns. Taylor and Fuller, and of course we had that touchdown return by Bruce Taylor. And let's look at the Rams. Roman Gabriel, 16 to 30, 190 yards, 2 TDs, 2 interceptions. He was sacked once for 6 yards. And your MVP, Les Josephson, 99 yards on the ground, rumbled in for a touchdown. Rams receiving game here. Let's see. Truax had the most catches. Most yards went to Bob Long. Jack Snow, I think that's the first time this year Jack Snow didn't get 100 yards in receiving. Touchdowns went to Truax and Wendell Tucker. I think Wendell Tucker has caught a touchdown pass in every game this season for the Rams. Here's your total offense numbers for the Los Angeles Rams. On defense, Merlin Olsen comes up big again, 6 tackles, 3 for loss. Deacon Jones, 5 tackles, 2 for loss. One of those was a sack. Dyron Talbert, 3 tackles, 2 for loss, and one of those was a sack. So and even Coy Bacon, 3 tackles, 1 of them for loss. So the front 4, the fearsome foursome, made their presence felt today against San Francisco. David Ray, I think this is the best kicking line David Ray has had all year. Stud Still's punting numbers. Long was 43, and out of the 7 punts, 6 of them were inside the 20. Kick return numbers, Heyman and Alexander. These 2 will be your punt returners as well. Okay. So the Rams looks like are going to take over possession of first place in the NFC West. And now, in Shea Stadium in New York, Miami and the New York Jets. The New York Jets 3-0, the lone unbeaten team in football right now in this 1970 replay. Miami had a big bounce back game last week after getting upset by the Oilers in Houston. They really put it to the Oakland Raiders. So can Miami keep the momentum going and get a win in Shea? 5:50 left in the first. Greasy back to pass. It's Willie Richardson to get the first down, so they convert on the 4th and 3. 58 seconds left, and it looks like Garo Yepremian's coming in for the field goal, and it's good. Miami 3, Jets 0. 10:46 in the second. Greasy for the Dolphins, back to pass. He's got Noonan open, and touchdown Dolphins. Carl Noonan, 30-yard touchdown reception from Bob Greasy. 10-0 Miami. Miami driving again in the second quarter. Greasy hits Holloman. Wrong jersey there. Gus Holloman gets another interception this season off Bob Greasy. 33 seconds left in the second quarter. Namath drives him down, and he hits Rich Castor in the end zone. 10-yard touchdown pass. Turner's extra point is good. 10-7 Dolphins. 2 seconds left in the second. Greasy winding up, and he lets that fly. And he hits Howard Twilley. Howard Twilley with the last second, just before the end of the first half. 73-yard touchdown pass from Bob Greasy. Miami up 17-7 with... Oh, and they blocked the kick. Al Atkinson returns it back a little bit to the, what looks like to be 37. Namath hands off to Knock, and he fumbles the ball with 14:23 in the fourth. Hands it back to Miami. Miami drives. Yepremian's kick at 6:51 is good. Miami goes up 20-7. With 3 minutes left in the fourth, Namath back to pass, avoids the sack. Emerson Boozer drops the ball. On a 4th and 13, Emerson Boozer drops the Namath pass. With 2:04 left in the fourth, Yepremian puts another field goal through. Miami 23, New York 7. Last gasp for Joe Namath and the Jets with a minute 25. And he's picked off by Curtis Johnson. There's that, and that it seals it for the Dolphins. And that, let's see, the Dolphins are going to just put a knee on it. It's the end of the game. So the Jets lose their first game of the season to the Miami Dolphins. Miami continues their great play after the embarrassing loss in Houston. Dolphins 23, Jets 7. Bob Greasy's your MVP. Let's look at those game stats. Miami dominated. Boy, the Jets just couldn't get rolling. Bob Greasy's numbers as your MVP, 15 out of 29, 248 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. That 73-yard touchdown pass to Twilley in the waning moments of the first half. He was sacked 3 times for 19 yards, though. Rushing attack by the Dolphins. Looks like Zonk on kick, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. He had a good day. 71 for Zonka, 58 for Jim Kick. Howard Twilley got 4 yards on a reverse. Receiving, Twilley, 99 yards, but 73 of those were on that Hail Mary bomb. Paul Warfield had 55 yards on 4 catches. Noonan and Twilley with the touchdowns. Here's the total offense numbers for the Miami Dolphins. On defense, Bonaconti leads with 6 tackles. Richardson had a sack. Curtis Johnson had that back-breaking interception to stop the Jets in the 4th quarter. Bonaconti did recover a fumble, which is probably that Emerson Boozer fumble. Yepremian, he missed one, but otherwise, good day for Garrow. Seipel had 4 punts, one of them inside the 20. Punt return, or kick return numbers. Morris and Hubert Ginn. And punt return numbers. Oh, Jake Scott actually got some action. The Jets punted to him, and he got a 57-yard return off of a punt. That's why you do not punt the ball to Jake Scott. He is a threat to take it all the way in for a score every time he touches the ball on a punt. Let's look at New York's numbers in their loss. Joe Willie Namath, 12 completions out of off of 32 attempts for 131 yards. 1 touchdown, 1 interception. It's not a good day for Namath. And the rushing attack was pretty nondescript. Knock losing the fumble. So Bonaconti picked up the fumble from George Knock, not Emerson Boozer. Apologies to Emerson Boozer. Receiving, Sauer and Maynard were Namath's 2 top targets. Rich Castor, however, did get the touchdown. Here's the total offense numbers for the New York Jets. On defense, Holloman, 9 tackles in that interception. Lomas with a sack. Philbin and Verlin Biggs also got sacks. Turner was good on his extra points. O'Neal was kind of busy today with 7 punts, but he averaged a little over 40 yards. Had 5 of them inside the 20. Here's your kick returners for the Jets, Battle and McLean. And your punt returners, Battle and Little Eddie Bell. All right. Miami looks like they're on a roll. Next up, in Yankee Stadium, a NFC East matchup, Philly versus New York. At least the weather's decent. 7:34 in the first. Wuchnick turns the corner, gets hit, coughs the ball up. New York recovers. 3:33 in the first. Pete Gogolak kicks it, and it's good. Your New York Giants get on the board first, 3-0. 1:55 in the second quarter. Bob Johnson punts it, it's blocked. Eagles recover, and they run it in for a score. Extra point is missed. 23 seconds in the second. Snead has driven him down. Spider Lockhart steps in front of the Snead pass to snuff out that scoring chance. 6-3, 7:45 in the third quarter. Gogolak. That's a long one, and it's good. 6-6 tie, 10:49, with the Giants knocking on the door, and Ron Johnson runs it in. 3-yard touchdown run by Ron Johnson. Extra point is good. 2:40 left. Johnson gets into the end zone again. This time 1-yard run off of the pitch from Fran Tarkington. Score is now 20-6, New York Giants. Snead hits Hawkins and he fumbles the ball. Oh, that looked good, and then he just coughed it up when he got hit. 31 seconds in the fourth quarter. And the time will expire on the game. And your New York Jets get a 20-6 victory over the Eagles. Ron Johnson had a good day as your MVP. 27 rushes, 110 yards, 2 touchdowns. Dominating performance by the New York Giants. Now let's look at Norm Snead's numbers for Philadelphia. 15-27, 210 yards, no touchdowns and interception. Rushing. Giant defense put a lock on the Philadelphia running game with Wichnick getting 35 and Cyril Pindor only getting 17. Wichnick fumbled twice. One of those was recovered by the Giants. Pinder also fumbled once. Receiving yards for the Philadelphia Eagles. You have Harold Jackson with 82 yards on 6 catches. Harry Jones, 72 yards on 4 catches. Total offense for the Philadelphia Eagles today. On defense, Tim Rosevich, 12 tackles, 2 for loss. One of those was a sack. Mel Tom got the other sack. Mosley missed his 1 extra point attempt. Bradley's punting day. Kick return numbers, Wallach and Nelson. And Philadelphia's punt return numbers. And let's look at the Giants. See how Fran Tarkington did today. 11 of 24, 185 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Was sacked twice. Ron Johnson, big day today with 110 yards and 2 TDs. Tucker Frederickson, who for the past couple games has had a little bit of fumble-itis, carried for 22 yards and he didn't fumble the ball away or fumble at all. Receiving, Clifton McNeil was pretty much the main man for New York today. The receiving department, 134 yards on 8 catches. Here's total offense for the New York Giants. On defense, Shea, 5 tackles, 3 for loss, and 2 of those were sacks. Look at Freddie Dryer's numbers. 4 tackles, 3 sacks. Bob Lertzma, 4 tackles, 2 sacks. They really got after Norm Snead today. Willie Williams recovered a fumble, as did Ralph Heck. Spider Lockhart got the interception. Goglak today was perfect. Bill Johnson's punting line. 5 punts, 4 of them were inside the 20. 1 was blocked, however. Here's your kick returners for the New York Giants. And your punt returners. Well, the Giants get a home win, 20-6. Pretty impressive win. Okay, well, our next game is an AFC West matchup. Denver going into the Coliseum to play the Oakland Raiders, who are coming off a pretty good drubbing last week by the Miami Vikings. So, kind of thinking they'll have a bounce back game, and they're going to take out their frustrations on Denver. Let's go to those highlights. 7:18 in the first, and it looks like Bobby Halfield is going to get Denver on the board first. Denver 3, Oakland nothing. 9:02 in the second, Blanda punches a short one through, tying the game at 3. We're later in the second quarter, 3:33 left. Floyd Little on a 4th and goal is tackled by Bill Lasky for a loss. 1:39. Liskey back to pass, and he hits Willie Brown, and Brown returns it about 11 yards to the Denver 33. 1:16 left. LaMonica back to pass, and touchdown Raiders. Drew Bowie for 11 yards from Daryl LaMonica. 1:01 in the second quarter. Liskey back to pass. Hits Floyd Little, and Floyd Little is gone. That's a touchdown, Denver Broncos. Stunning the Oakland Coliseum crowd with 1:01 left in the half. 10-10 tie, Liskey back to pass, and he's picked off. Kent McClellan picks off the Liskey pass at the 44. 6:40 in the third. Dixon gets the first, but he fumbles the ball away. Hewart Dixon runs for 14 and gives the ball away to Denver. But 14-18 in the fourth. Charlie Smith runs it in for a 1-yard touchdown for the Raiders. Denver wasn't able to convert that fumble into anything. 10:56 left in the fourth. And Liskey, he overthrows Embry. 22 seconds left. Liskey's got him down to the 11. Floyd Little runs in. Floyd Little may have just helped tie this game. And it is a tie game with 16 seconds left. LaMonica looking downfield. He avoids the sack. Throws back across the field. And he's intercepted by Paul Martha. That ends that drive. 8 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Liskey back to pass. He's looking. He's looking. And he just misses Hafner. That is your game. Floyd Little, your MVP? Well, another tie. Ties were somewhat common back in the 60s and 70s. Denver's numbers. Liskey, 14 out of 34 for 243 yards, a touchdown, 2 interceptions. He had that 84-yard toss to Floyd Little. Floyd Little's numbers, 74 yards on the ground, and that's about it. Yeah, you're looking at the Denver pretty much the Denver offense and the Denver rushing game in Floyd Little. Floyd Little had 84 yards. He had that one big, long touchdown. 69 yards for Denson, 41 for Hafner. Here's your total offense numbers for the Broncos. On defense, Dave Washington had 8 tackles. Rich Jackson, Paul Smith had sacks. Martha the interception. Gordon the fumble recovery. And Halfield was dead on today. Billy Van Heusen, typical Billy Van Heusen line. 4 of his 5 punts were inside the 20. Your kick returners, Anderson and Thompson. Punt returns, Thompson and Floyd Little. Oakland. Darryl LaMonica, 21 of 31. 272, a touchdown, an interception, sacked twice. Dixon was your leading rusher for Oakland with 52 yards. Charlie Smith got the touchdown. Dixon fumbled the ball twice. One of those was lost to Denver. Biletnikoff, 6 catches, 88 yards. Warren Wells, 5 catches, 62. Raymond Chester, 4 catches, 72 yards. And then Little used Drew Bowie. He had the touchdown. Didn't even know that guy was on the roster. Total offense numbers for the Raiders. On defense, Gassado led the way with 8 tackles. Willie Brown picked up that interception along the sideline. Ben Davison, 3 tackles, 2 of which were sacks. Blanda didn't miss anything today. Eyeshide, kind of a busy day. 51 yards was his longest. Out of the 8 punts, 6 of them were inside the 20. Wyatt and Atkinson, their kick return numbers. Wyatt and Sherman's punt numbers, which they both had a fair catch. Okay. Now we're getting into the bottom part of the schedule. We have Buffalo visiting Three River Stadiums. The question here, Terry Bradshaw under center or Terry Hanratty? Who will Chuck Noll go to try to jumpstart the offense for the Steelers? Let's find out. 7:16 left in the first. Shaw pitches to Patrick and he fumbles the ball. Recovered by Pittsburgh. 15 minutes in the second quarter. It's Hanratty. He's in. And he throws an interception right at Mike Stratton. Buffalo gets the ball back. And they don't do anything with it. 6:32 into the second quarter. Mingo. Looks like he went wide right. 0-0. 44 seconds left. Hanratty's got him down. Are they going to score? And they do. Steelers get on the board. Terry Hanratty to Dave Smith for 6 yards. 7-0 Pittsburgh. Shaw back to pass with 29 seconds left in the second quarter, and he's picked off. After a short run back by Chuck Beatty, Steelers have the ball. 8 seconds left. Mingo is going to try to extend the lead, and he is wide right again. Guess the weather is affecting him. 11:56 in the third. 4th and 8. Hanratty back to pass. He's got Bryant, and he fumbles the ball at the 7. Buffalo recovers. 10:37 Buffalo. Nope. Hanratty hands off to Fuqua. Fuqua's in for the touchdown. 4-yard touchdown run by Johnny Fuqua. 14-0 Steelers. Shaw hands off to O.J. Simpson, and he turns the corner. With 6:19 in the third quarter, Simpson in for the touchdown. 14-7 Pittsburgh. Hanratty hands off to Fuqua with 21 seconds in the third quarter, and he fumbles the ball. Buffalo recovers. 8:49 in the fourth. Hanratty has him down near the goal line, and Hanratty sneaks in for a 3-yard touchdown. Extra point is good. 21-7 Steelers. 4:13 left. 4th and 5. Shaw hits Marlon Briscoe. They convert the 4th down. 2:46 left. Shaw has him close to the end zone. He's back to pass. Andy Russell steps in front of the receiver and runs it back to the 24. Eight seconds left. Shaw, last chance to try to get some points here. He avoids the sack. He avoids the sack again. Fires it downfield with 8 seconds left. And overthrows out of bounds. Clyde Glosson, the closest Bill there. And that will end your game. Pittsburgh gets a 21-7 victory over the Buffalo Bills. Andy Russell is your MVP. I think Terry Hanratty looked pretty good. Let's look at the stats. Dominating game by Pittsburgh. Lots of purple. Dennis Shaw, 19-28, 203 yards. Excuse me. No touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He was sacked 3 times by the Steel Curtain. Rough day for Dennis Shaw. Looking at the rushing numbers, Steel Curtain did a number on the Buffalo rushing game. O.J. Simpson, 19 yards on 12 attempts. Wow. Wayne Patrick fumbled the ball away to Steelers. Shaw fumbled as well. Simpson got the touchdown on a running play, but that was pretty much it. I think it was that 4-yard touchdown run. But, yeah, they really bottled up OJ. No pun intended. Receiving for Buffalo. Marlon Briscoe, 105 yards on 7 catches. Total offense for the Buffalo Bills. Looking at the defense, Edgar Chandler, 12 tackles, led the way for Buffalo in defense. Paul Guidry had a sack. Mike Stratton, 7 tackles and an interception. Waddy Harvey picked up the fumble. Ron McDowell, 3 tackles, 2 of them for loss. Decent game by the Dancing Bear, Ron McDowell. Kicking numbers. Punting numbers. Kick returning, Allen and Ike Hill. Both of them had their longest run was 24 yards. Farr and Hill. All right, let's look at Pittsburgh. Terry Hanratty, 19 to 31, 218 yards, touchdown and interception. Was sacked once for 8 yards. Probably one of the better quarterback ratings we've seen for a Steelers quarterback this season. Rushing numbers. Preston Pearson, John Fuqua. Solid game. Hanratty, Fuqua ran in the touchdowns. Fuqua did lose a fumble. Okay, looking at the receiving numbers. Hubie Bryant, kind of out of nowhere, 101 yards. Dave Smith had 69, and Ronnie Shanklin had 47. Smith had the touchdown. Total offense numbers for the Steelers. On defense, big game for Andy Russell. 10 tackles, 1 for loss, a sack, and an interception. Joe Green, big game for him. Half of his tackles were for loss. Ben McGee, 3 tackles, 2 of them were sacks. Russell, Beatty for getting the interceptions. Hildebrandt gobbled up the fumble. Not a good day for Mingo. Walden's day punting wasn't very busy, only out there 3 times. Kick returns. Mel Blount had a 34-yard return. Staggers and Bryant in their punt return duties today. Well, we'll have to see what the standings look like. But solid game by Pittsburgh. This will be an interesting matchup. Green Bay visiting San Diego. And you have to think, too, for many of these teams, this is the first time Green Bay has ever played the Chargers. You could say even, this season, Pittsburgh didn't play Buffalo before, maybe in an exhibition game. But again, the AFL teams, this is their first go round in NFL stadiums, and vice versa for the NFL teams. So it's what makes 1970 an interesting season. You've got, half the league hasn't played against one another, or maybe in an exhibition game or in a Super Bowl, but Green Bay's never played a game in San Diego until today in 1970. So let's see how the Packers do in 74-degree sunny weather down in San Diego. Maybe the warm weather will result in them getting a victory. Let's go to the highlights. 14:48 left. San Diego has the ball. Flag on the play. Hadel is picked off by Doug Hart on the 29. 12:45 in the first. Livingston, the kick is up. Is it good? It is wide left. He missed it left. Score 0-0 with 6:10 left. Bart Starr has led the team down with 6:10 in the first, and Donnie Anderson runs it in for a 1-yard touchdown. 50 seconds left. The Packers have the ball. And with the pitch, Donnie Anderson fumbles it to San Diego. They can't convert on it. 18 left in the second. Well, actually, they did. They converted on that fumble. My bad. 2 minutes left in the second quarter. Bart Starr back to pass. He's got Clancy, and he beats the defense. Touchdown, Green Bay Packers. 14-3, 12 seconds left. And Jeff Queen fumbles the ball at the Green Bay 3 with 12 seconds left in the second quarter. Green Bay comes in. They're going to kick the field goal with 7 seconds left to go up 17-3. Third quarter, 14 seconds in the third quarter. Starr pitches off to Donnie Anderson. Anderson rumbles into the end zone for a 4-yard Packer touchdown. Extra point is good. Green Bay 24, San Diego 3. We got a blocked punt. Donnie Anderson's punt is blocked and goes out of bounds at the 40. 18 seconds left in the fourth. Starr takes the knee. Time expires. The game is over. Green Bay comes in and puts a decisive 24-3 victory on the San Diego Chargers. I guess the warm weather agreed with the Packers. Donnie Anderson, again, is your MVP for the game. Again, can't say enough about Donnie Anderson and what a solid player he was all around. He had 157 yards and 2 TDs on the ground, and he caught 3 catches for 11 yards. Also, too, he does punting duties. Oh, yeah. Domination by the Packers. Bart Starr had a good game. 14 out of 26, 114 yards, touchdown, no interceptions. Looking like the Bart Starr of old. Big day by for Donnie Anderson. 157 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns. He did, however, fumble the ball twice. One of those went over to San Diego. Travis Williams, 64 yards. So he had a good day too. But looks like, boy, they ground it out on the ground against that San Diego defense, which isn't really great against the run. Clancy, 58 yards, but he had 20 into that with the touchdown pass. Donnie Anderson, 11 yards. Total offense by the Packers. All right, looking at defense. Fred Carr is your tackles leader. 2 of those were for loss. Lionel Aldridge, he got 2 sacks. Jim Carter, he picked up a fumble. Doug Hart snagged an interception. Livingston missed a field goal, but otherwise was good on his extra points. Donnie Anderson's day punting. 2 of the 5 punts were inside the 20. Ellison Krause didn't get much action on the kick returns. Willie Wood and Ken Ellis, their punt return numbers for the day. And San Diego, let's see about their numbers. John Hadel did not have a good day. 13 of 25, 86 yards, 1 interception. His longest pass of the day was 16 yards, just anemic. 2 sacks, 12 yards. Wow. Boy, the Packers put the hammer down on the rushing game. And you got to think some of this, too, is they got down. So, basically because they were behind in the game, they just started slinging the ball. And it looks like they pretty much just gave up on the run game. And slinging the ball didn't get them very far either. Lance Allworth was targeted twice. He got 2 catches. Allworth 2, Garrison 2. 13 yards, 11 yards. Dickie Post, he got 3 coming out of the backfield. So they shut down that 3-headed receiving monster San Diego has in Garrison, Allworth, and Frazier. The really awful total offense numbers. On defense, they got a workout today. 11 tackles by Jim Tolbert. No sacks, no interceptions. Bob Briggs did grab one of those Donnie Anderson fumbles. Mercer had his field goal. Partee busy today, 8 punts, 5 of them inside the 20. And Duncan and Fletcher's kick return numbers. Punt return numbers. Well, the Pack may be back. Just see what happens. But they sure like that San Diego weather. Now we're down to the last 2 games of Week 4. New Orleans against the St. Louis Cardinals. The Cardinals have been strong the past 2 games against the Redskins and the Cowboys. They're playing at Busch Stadium again. Can St. Louis continue their winning ways? Or is New Orleans going to sneak out with a upset? 9:57 in the first. Jimmy Hart under center for the Cardinals. And he scrambles in for a 4-yard touchdown run. Extra point is good. Cardinals 7, New Orleans 0. 11:42, Kilmer hands off to Elijah Pitts. He's tripped up and he fumbles the ball. St. Louis recovers at the 29. 11:19 in the second quarter. Jim Bakken lines up a field goal. And he's wide left.
Wide left.
1:47 in the second quarter. Kilmer hands off to Pitts. Pitts is trapped in the backfield. Oh, no, wait. He fumbled the ball and St. Louis recovered. I thought that was a safety.
It's good.
Tom Dempsey gets a 39-yard field goal with 10:28 in the third. 8:49 in the third. Hart hands off to MacArthur Lane, and he fumbles. He fumbles at the 11, giving New Orleans a shot to get a score here. 8:43. Kilmer back to pass, and he hits Stovall. Jerry Stovall picks off Billy Kilmer at the 8. Boy, they're just trading turnovers here. 6:02 in the third. Hart rolls out, hits Dannon for 13 yards and the touchdown. Extra point is good. 21-3 Cardinals. 14-14 in the fourth. Dempsey goes wide right with his kick. 14:08 in the fourth. Hart fumbles the ball trying to get around the end. New Orleans has another shot at the 22. What will they do with it? 11:23 in the fourth. Barrington gets the ball from Kilmer and rumbles in for a 9-yard touchdown. Dempsey makes the extra point. 10 points for the Saints, 21 for St. Louis.
Wide right.
And it stays that way after Bakken goes wide right on his field goal attempt. A minute left in the fourth. Kilmer throws the interception. Jamie Rivers grabs the Kilmer pass at the 24. And that will be your final score. St. Louis 21, New Orleans 10. So St. Louis keeps the winning ways going. I think that's 3 in a row for them. Rivers is your MVP. Dominating game by the St. Louis Cardinals. New Orleans turned the ball over 4 times. St. Louis twice. Let's look at Billy Kilmer's numbers and the numbers for the Saints. He was 14 of 28, 192 yards, no touchdowns. He had 2 picks. He was sacked 3 times for 25 yards. Looks like a long day for Billy. The veteran Elijah Pitts had 40 yards on the ground today. And he fumbled twice, and both of those were recovered by the Cardinals, one of which looked like a safety, but he fumbled the ball in the end zone, and St. Louis recovered there. So touchdown St. Louis. That was rough. Barrington led the way with 48 yards and a TD. On the receiving side, Abramowitz had 70 yards on 5 catches. No one got any touchdowns through the air. Total offense for the Saints. On defense, Absher again leading in tackles. Burkett got a sack as well as Rowe. Absher and Hollis were the ones that grabbed the fumbles. Dempsey had a better day today than he's had in recent weeks. He only missed 1 field goal. That should tell you how bad his season's been so far when he's 50% on field goals, and that's a good day. Fagan's punting line. New Orleans kick returners. Had a 29-yard return by Al Dodd. Punt returns, Dodd and Lyons. All right, let's see how Jimmy Hart and the St. Louis Cardinals performed. Hart's numbers, 15 of 32, 212 in yardage, 1 TD, didn't turn the ball over. He was sacked twice for 16 yards. Solid day. MacArthur Lane had a good day running the ball, 124 yards, 7.8 average. But he did fumble the ball away, as did Jimmy Hart when he was trying to sneak around the left side of the St. Louis offensive line. Dave Williams had a good day receiving, 6 catches, 117 yards. Total offense numbers for the St. Louis Cardinals. On defense, Jerry Stovall, 9 tackles and an interception. Jamie Rivers, 8 tackles, 1 of them for loss, an interception, a fumble recovery, and he was the one that ended up with the ball in the end zone after Elijah Pitts bobbled it in the end zone. Fred Herron had 3 tackles for loss out of his 6. Parrish had 2 sacks. Rolf Kruger, the veteran, both of his tackles were sacks. Larry Wilson grabbed a fumble as well. The wily old veteran, Larry Wilson. Bakken, he missed 2 of his field goals, which is unusual. He's normally very reliable. Hit all of his extra points. LaTourette, 6 punts. LaTourette and Pittman in their kick return numbers for today. And LaTourette and Roland in punt returns. It's going to be interesting to look at the standings after this week. In our last game, Detroit versus Washington. I'm thinking Sonny Jurgensen will probably be back in the starting quarterback role. Frank Ryan just did not get it done last week in another loss. And again, the Washington Redskins are just a team seemingly searching for an identity and trying to get some momentum. So let's see what happens playing at home in RFK. Excuse me. 12:41 in the first. Bill Munson back to pass. And he's picked off. It's starting out well. It starts out really well for the Redskins with Ricky Harris picking off Munson and taking it to the 5. Now let's see what Sonny Jurgensen does. Gives it to Larry Brown, and the Redskins are up. 3-yard touchdown run by Larry Brown. Extra point's good. Now it looks like the Lions trying to field goal here with 5:44 in the first. And it's good. 7-3 Washington. 10:54 in the second quarter. And that one looked good too. Yep. That's good. 7-6 Washington. What? Washington got a touchdown there or a field goal? Apparently. Didn't see it. Knight misses that field goal attempt. Jurgensen under center with 1:49 in the second quarter. He tosses it to Brown, and Brown fumbles it after turning the corner. Detroit has the ball on the 37-yard line. And they don't go anywhere. 1:18. And it's wide right. Errol Mann misses the 44-yard attempt. Wide right. Going into the end of the second quarter. Fisher picks off Munson, and he is in for a pick 6. Pat Fisher picks off Bill Munson, runs it back for 6, which turns into 7 with the extra point. 13:51 in the third, Munson back to pass, and he is picked off again. Well, he went with Munson over Landry this week. That didn't look like a good decision. 11:49 left in the third quarter. Knight's kick is good. Washington adding on to their score, 20-3, 1:20 in the third. Larry Brown cuts through the Lions defense for a 13-yard touchdown run. Extra point is good, 27-3 Washington. Knight, again, long field goal, and he shanks it right. 4:11 in the fourth. Munson back to pass for the Lions, and it's picked off by Brig Owens. 1:12 left in the fourth. And Sonny hands off to Henry Dyer, and he runs it in for a 2-yard touchdown to add on to that 27-point lead. 34-3. With a second left, Munson hands it off to Farr, and it's all for naught. It's a 2-yard touchdown, but too little too late for the Lions. Washington with a decisive 34-10 victory over the Lions at home in RFK Stadium. That a lot of Redskins fans going home happy after that, especially how the season's gone so far. Great game, great effort by the Washington Redskins. Larry Brown is your MVP. He's kind of doing it all today, running the ball, catching the ball, and passing the ball. And no surprise, lots of purple in the Washington ledger. Bill Munson had a absolutely abysmal day. 6 completions. Well, 10 completions if you count the 4 that he threw into the hands of the Washington defense. 73 yards. I think it's time for Greg Landry to come in. All right, looking at the rushing numbers, not a great day for Alty, Taylor, or Mel Farr. Receiving, Larry Walton, he leads with 40 yards, but 34 of those came on 1 catch. Those are some horrible numbers for the Detroit Lions, who were the favorites coming into this game. I kind of thought that Detroit had a good chance of really trouncing the struggling Redskins. Turned out to be the opposite. Detroit defense, which was on the field probably a heck of a long time. Lucci and Karras lead in tackles, 13 for Lucci, 10 for Alex Karras. No sacks. 1 fumble recovery by Dick LeBeau. Errol Mann, he missed 1 field goal, but at the end of the day, it didn't matter. Wouldn't have made a difference if he would have made it or not. Herman Weaver's line for punting today. Detroit's kick returners. And punt returners. Now let's look at the Washington Redskins. Jurgensen, 14-26. 113 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, wasn't sacked. That's probably Sonny's best performance this season so far. Even though he didn't get any touchdowns, he didn't throw any interceptions either. I think that was the key. Larry Brown, halfback pass for 14 yards. Larry Brown leading the way, rushing, 125 yards and 2 TDs. He did fumble away a ball during the game to the Lions. Dyer had 2 carries for 2 yards. He had 1, a 2-yard run, it looks like. Receiving, Roberts, your leading receiver for the Redskins, but they were pretty much taking it to the Lions on the ground today with the running game. Total offense for the Redskins. On the defensive side, Hamburger and McClinton leading with 6 tackles. McClinton had 2 for loss. Hamburger had a sack. Hoffman had a sack. Harris, Vassell, Fisher, and Brig Owen, they had the interceptions. Fisher also Interception for touchdown. Kurt Knight, normally good. He did miss a couple field goals. Was perfect on his extra points. Bragg, his punting line, 3 punts, 2 of them inside the 20. Vactor and Harris's kick return numbers. Harrison Roberts' punt return numbers against Detroit. Okay, and that wraps up week 4. So let's go look at the standings. St. Louis sits atop the NFC East with a 3-1 record. New York, Washington, that a little bit of surprise considering how Washington struggled, are behind with 500 records. Cowboys still struggling, still looking for answers. Philadelphia fading and actually just kind of being the team we thought they would be this season, which would be a team that would struggle. Minnesota is in first place in the NFC Central Division. In the West, the Rams take first place. In the AFC, in the Eastern Division, 3-way tie for first. Miami, Baltimore, and the Jets. Boston still looking for their first victory. In the Central, the Steelers, they're in first place. Surprising Houston Oilers at 2-2 in second. I think Cincinnati would, both Cincinnati and Cleveland would be, gunning for that second or even third place. I don't think anybody saw Houston playing that good, or Cincinnati and Cleveland playing that bad. In the West, Kansas City is your sole team in first place with a 3-1 record. Oakland right behind. Denver and San Diego fading. All right. Well, that will wrap up week 4. We will sim week 5 coming up here probably in the next day or two. So look forward to that video being up. I think with week 5, we will sim that. We'll do week 6. I think I've got some surprises, just kind of some nostalgia 1970 items to share with you guys for either week 5 or 6. And until that time, be safe. Thank you for watching. Please like and share the video if you enjoyed this. Please subscribe. And with that, we'll see you in week 5.